Well, here we go. The Daily 3. That's 3 questions, 3 minutes. Sam, take it away.
It was meltdown city, not only in Memphis for the Wolves, but the Wild as well. They lose to the lowly Arizona Coyotes at home last night, snapping a long unbeaten streak. They lose 5-3. 2 games left in the regular season, Ron. Is this the Wild overlooking a bad team because they have their sights on the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it right now, we know points matter. So all the points they're getting right now are going to matter when it comes. So their wins, 51-22. Blues, who they have to stay away from, 49-21. So 2 games left. Can they blow it? Yeah. But the goals are going to matter. Points are going to matter. I definitely think that was a trap game. They rose to the occasion versus the Kraken. But again, when you see the lead that you have and you realize we could possibly lose 2, we just got to win 1, because then we put ourselves 3 games ahead. I think that's where they were at. That's kind of because they can't catch the Avalanche. But home ice, I mean, we're looking at home court right now. This is the reason, like 2-7 for the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies. This exactly what's happening right now is why you want home court, because if you lose game 6 for the Grizzlies, you get to go back home. If you lose for the Timberwolves, you're done, and you just don't have to get back on a plane. So that's the same thing in hockey. That's the same thing in football, same thing in baseball. Home ice is important. But, yes, I think it was completely just overlooked. I think it was a trap game. Those happen. It happens. There's trap games. Like the Detroit Lions are a trap game pretty much for everybody. And they find ways to win games. So except for the Bears. The Bears can't consider the Lions a trap game. But that's where I think it is going to come down to for the Wild. You want to finish out strong. You don't want to lose you don't want to go into the playoffs on a 3-game losing streak, because then that becomes mental. You look at Ben Simmons. This dude missed free throws a year ago, where he just got fouled and got put on the line. This dude is still struggling, and I'm not making fun of mental health. I'm saying that this is that's real. Like mental health, mental thought processes in sports is real. Kevin Love talked about it. You now see Ben Simmons sitting out an entire season, not wanting to come in game 4 because he's like, man, I just imagine myself getting fouled a ton, getting put on the line, and I got to shoot to keep, either win the game or keep my team in the game. I don't want that pressure. Well, think about a team that's coming off a 3-game losing streak. Now that's pressure. That's pressure for the goalkeeper. He's like, man, I gotta be on my best for the playoffs now. I had a horrible finish. How do I mentally get myself out this hole? Our guys forcing shots on goal that are ill-advised just because they're trying to force the issue, and they should have made maybe one more pass to their teammate before he takes a shot on goal. So you don't want to go into the playoffs with a 3-game losing streak. So, yeah, I definitely think it was a trap game, though.
Yeah, I said this about the Wolves late in the season. They got crushed by the Wizards at home, and I said, hey, 1 game sometimes is a good wake-up call. So I think that's what that's going to be here for the Wild. Basketball question. Top 2 seeds in the Eastern Conference made quick work of their opponents. The Heat clinched their series over the Hawks in 5 last night, and the Celtics the day before clinched their series in 4. A sweep of the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving-led Nets. So of those 2 teams in the East, Ron, do you think either of them is a serious title contender? Which one would you take?
I take the Celtics. I take the Celtics because Jason Tatum is ridiculous. Like, we already know he got the max contract. We already know he got the money. Came from Duke. But he has gotten better and better. It's amazing to me that early in the season, people wanted to split him and Jaylen Brown up. People were actually saying maybe we need to split them up. We need to keep Jason Tatum, but we need to get somebody else in there. Jaylen Brown has also played out of his mind. Now, partly because the Nets suck. And not like as an athlete, they are great athletes. Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, he's my favorite point guard. Like, I like him over Steph Curry just because of what he can do with the basketball. Steph Curry's a ridiculous shooter. I put Kyrie in a different echelon because he's a true point guard. He's also, he's a competitor. You look at Kevin Durant, he's a unicorn. You're not going to find somebody with his size, his height, his wingspan that can shoot and dribble the way he does. Now, this is the thing. He said, when I played with the Warriors, I was able to spread the floor out. I had a lot more freedom. There's a lot with the Nets. He's getting double teamed late in the games. You can't double team him with the Warriors. And that's where he's learning. Now, if you think about the Nets, they were supposed to have James Harden. I think that takes the double team away because you can't double Durant when James Harden can shoot your lights out. When you get Seth Curry, not Steph, Seth, not Steph. Seth is not Steph. He does not scare me. He does not make me want to leave Kevin Durant. Like, he doesn't. There's no way I'm leaving Kevin Durant if Seth is over there. Now, Steph, yeah. Steph's over there. James Harden's over there. Okay, I can't just leave that dude wide open. And I think that's what people keep forgetting is the Nets were supposed to be this three-headed monster, iso ball like Steve Nash did when he played. And then you change to this two-headed monster, and you don't have a third guy in your offense. You don't have a third outlet passer. Kyrie drives. He should have been able to dish it left or right if somebody doubles. James Harden drives. He should have been able to dish it left or right if somebody doubles. Kevin Durant drives. He should, same thing. And so when you don't have that third guy, and then there was some turmoil. You know, people are learning now, your friend is not my friend. And that's what James Harden and Kevin Durant learned early. We're boys, but your boy ain't my boy. Kyrie and James Harden, I don't know if it was the vaccination stuff. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was Kyrie's moodiness in the locker room. Some people can only deal with one moody person. Like, I look at my kids. If I had two moody kids, I probably wouldn't come home. I only have one, my 7-year-old. My 11-year-old can deal with her. But if I had both of them being moody, oh, no. I'm not coming home. I'm doing podcasts 24/7. I'm just staying in the office. I'm working. And so that's where I look at where James Harden left. And I think that's the problem is that's the team that was set up. I think the Celtics made quick work of it, but I think they're better than the Heat.
Yeah, and I like those complementary players too. Horford and Smart, really, really important to that team too.
Yes.
ESPN Nations, NFL Nation, I should say, held their mock draft at ESPN last night, and they had the Vikings taking cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. with the 12th pick. That's been the name that's been mocked a ton to the Vikings. So if that happens tomorrow, Ron, are you happy with that pick?
Yeah, if it happens, I'm happy with it. But because now everybody's saying he might not get past the Jets. Like, he might not make it past 7, 8, 9, or 10. And so now the question becomes, is he your guy? Because we've always heard this. If he's your guy, do you try to trade with a team that is not going to drop back that far, that maybe doesn't want him, and their guy's still going to be there? The other thing is the sneaky pick that could happen is Jordan Davis out of Georgia, a big body. In that 3-4 defense with the guys they already have on that defense, you had a guy like Jordan Davis at 6'6", 340 pounds. That's a monster in the middle. That's a true nose tackle. That's a true two-gapper, a guy that can really just eat up space, leave your 3 and 5 technique free to go one-on-one, leave your outside linebackers, whichever one you decide to rush, whether it's za'darius or Daniil Hunter, one-on-one with the tight end or tackle. So now you've created a lot of havoc. You've created a guy that loves football, a guy came from a big-time program that beat up on some offensive linemen that are really good at Florida and Alabama. Alabama, we know their linemen are good, and he beat up on Alabama. So when you look at that pick too, it could happen. And then you still have an opportunity in the second and third round to get some quality corners. Kyer Elam continues to fall. He's a late first-round pick. He might be there in the second, though. Don't overlook the fact that you still have other guys out there like Andrew Booth Jr. If Cam Dantzler is your guy, 6'3", and you think he can play in this cover two, style 3-4 defense, where it's going to be a lot of two-man, technique-wise is just teaching a guy to trail, jamming when you need to jam, not letting him off the line of scrimmage. It can get – and then, you're going to probably play nickel a bunch, cover two nickel with Chandler Sullivan, and we know he's good and can hold his own in the nickel. I do not disagree with the pick. I like it. I like Derek Stingley, but there's other options out there if you have to do it. But yeah, no, if they get Derek Stingley, I'm happy.
Great situation for him to come in to be mentored by Patrick Peterson if he does. Is there a part of you, Ron, that looks at Stingley's resume, though, and says, well, he had one really good year, 2019, when LSU was beating teams by like 30 every game. Other teams were forced to throw. He had 6 interceptions. He was surrounded by a wealth of talent. That was one of the most stacked college teams I've ever seen. Are you afraid that maybe that season was propped up a little bit just by being around an incredible defense and team overall?
No, because everybody said Joe Burrows was one and done 1 year. Oh yeah, you had Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Everybody said Jamar Chase. You had Justin Jefferson and Joe Burrow, and you had a good defense. Everybody said Justin Jefferson was okay, but he's not better than Jamar Chase. Everybody was wrong. Joe Burrow's good. Justin Jefferson's good. Jamar Chase is great. Justin Jefferson is great. The gritty is awesome, and Derek Stingley is pretty good. So I don't hold that with anything, because I think that coaching group has done a great job to get NFL ready caliber players in that program.
All right, bonus question, quick thoughts. Usher showing up to the Wolves game last night and sitting next to his lookalike, John Morant's father, T.
Yeah, I'd say whoever set that up, great job by the Grizzlies. That was a great job by their marketing team to make that happen, to get, Usher courtside seats next to T. Morant. T. Morant, great job playing into the bit. He's creating a lane or a stream of income for himself now, because now people are like actually seeing like, hey, it might be worth putting him in a commercial. Like, don't. I mean, you saw LeVar Ball is in a commercial with LaMelo. John Morant now being the most improved player. I think John Morant's going to have some commercials in his future doing the gritty and some other stuff with his dad, and maybe even Usher in the commercial. Like, there's going to be some marketability with what he just did. That was awesome. I love it. And I love the fact to see fathers supporting their sons. Like, again, black fathers, there's so many things out there where people try to downplay the role of a man in his kid's life, the role of a father, but especially in the black community. Like, people just assume, you see all these jokes and all this stuff. Like, it's great to see karl-Anthony Towns' dad and John Morant's dad there, being positive impacts in their sons' lives, being positive people, in the community, but still holding their own, being friends, not being about the antics, not getting in trouble, not doing anything stupid. Like, I love it though. I love the storyline. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a 30 for 30 of AAU, John Morant, karl-Anthony Towns growing up, being friends, playing in this game, dads at the game, getting celebritants now. They're being shown and flown back and forth between both games because they're friends. And yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, the dads are the stars of the series, and I loved when I went to Game 4, I don't know if the cameras ever caught this on TV, but when they were doing the T-shirt gun a couple times every game, they were giving T-shirts to Kat's dad to throw out into the crowd, and he's running around throwing T-shirts. They both just seem like really good sports, and they're not like overly caught up in the rivalry or the officiating or what have you. Seems like they're really enjoying themselves, so it's fun to see.